Hi folks, Steve here from PS3 Spares. Today what I'm going to do is show you how to swap over the logic board on a 450 Blu-ray drive, which comes out of a slim PS3. What I'll also do in another video is show you how to swap over the little lens that's in the drive. So now earlier on I showed you how to open the console up and remove this. So if you've arrived here and you're not sure how to do that, just go to one of the other videos. I think it's called how to dismantle a PS3 Slim, and that'll show you how to get this out. So essentially, if you've sent away for one of these and you need to swap over your logic board, this is what to do. So this is your old one. I'll use this one for the whole video, but essentially this will be the one you've taken out of your console, and what you need to do is remove the logic board, or the little circuit board that's in there. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so we start with the 3 small screws in the top, and you'll need a fine Phillips screwdriver or star screwdriver for this. And as I've said in several of my other videos, this is just a little kit that I got, which came in this little box here with lots of different screw heads, which just pop into the handle. So if you need a bigger screwdriver, you swap it over. And then the other beautiful thing about this is it's magnetized, so it helps to lift screws up and set them down again. Okay, so that's the top 3 out. Flip it over, and there are 5 screws on the bottom. One there, one there, one in the middle, and then 2 long screws which hold the base to the top cover. And I'll show you those screws in a wee moment. Okay, let's get a zoom in on those little screws there. There we are. Okay, right, so once you've removed your screws, just gently give it a shake and lift the top and remove it, and then flip it over. And now, if you haven't done this before, there'll be a piece of black tape along there. You'll need to peel that off before you can remove the base plate. This one's been out before, so it's not there, and you just lift that off and that comes away. So now what you can see is this is the circuit board that you need to swap over from your old Blu-ray drive to your new Blu-ray drive, because if you don't swap that over, then your motherboard will not recognize this Blu-ray drive, or the new Blu-ray drive. So you need to just swap that over. Okay, now there are 1, 2, 3 data ribbon connections there on the top side, and then there's another one underneath. Now once you've removed those, the only thing holding this board in place is this little tab, and there's a couple of little tabs there. You just pull that little tab back. In the 400 and the 410 there are screws on it, but with the 450, this one, it's just a little tab, and there it is there. And you just pull that back. I need to set it down to do it. Just pull it back and lift the board away, and remember it's connected at the bottom. I'll try and show you that. There's the data ribbon underneath that's connected to the lens, and there's a little clip on that, so you'll just need to get your finger under there and flip that little clip there. Just flip that up and you can remove the board. Okay folks, that's that part. Now what we need to do is Now we're going to put the logic board back on here. So to put it back on, all you need to do is line it up, put it onto the there's two tabs there, two little tabs, one, where's my thumb? Oh, there's one there and one over there. Just put it underneath and push it down, and that's it, it's in. Now all we have to do is reattach the 3 data ribbons that are on the top. That's 1, 2, and this little tricky one here. Okay, 3. And the final thing to do is to connect should have done this earlier. Just take the top off to connect that last data ribbon. And to take the top off, there's 2 clips at that end, and there are 2 screws at the far end. And there you can see the lens from the top side. And we just have to connect up the data ribbon on the bottom, and it can be tricky, folks, but just spend the time to do it correctly and make sure it's aligned properly. Now I've managed to do that, but the data ribbon's quite short and it just connects in under there. And then we'll just put these bits back on. Top just clicks back in, and then there are 2 screws, one at each end. This will be a lot clearer for you when you have the Blu-ray drive in front of you. Okay, so now all we've got to do is remember to put that back in. Many a time I have put these things back in, put them back in the console, and they haven't worked simply because I forgot to put that back in. So always remember to put that back in. And then we flip it over, remembering to hold it in place with your finger, and put the base plate back on. Now there's a little tab there in the base plate, and it goes over that, or a little hole, and it goes over the tab there. And just click it into place. And make sure that that end goes underneath. A little black tab there and a little black tab there. It needs to go underneath it. And then we introduce the bit at the top. It just slots down, and yet again make sure that that goes underneath the black tab there and there. Switch it round, make sure everything's aligned. Our screws back in, and one in the middle. Two at the far end. And then 2 long ones that connect with the top cover. Now sometimes these can be difficult to line up, sometimes they just go straight in. That one went straight in. Hopefully this one will as well. No, that one's given me a few problems. So what I'll do is undo this one. sure this one's lined up properly. There we go. Hopefully this one will go in properly. There we go. Okay, now all we've got to do is put it back into the console. So let's zoom out a little bit so there's a bit more room. We bring our bits back in. Now this is what we showed you how to dismantle in the first video. So the first thing we need to do is connect the data ribbon, and there's a little socket for it down in there, and like all the data ribbons, or most of the data ribbons, there's a little clip. Lift the clip up, put the data ribbon in and click it down into place, and there we go. Now next we have to make sure that the on off switch is lifted out of its position, and we can slot that in, put that back on the top. I'll just try and show you there, we're putting that back in. There's two little tabs there, and this slots into the tabs, and then the on-off switch comes down in on top of it. Now we need to connect the data ribbon to the motherboard, and it's the same principle. It's just a case of putting it into the slot and clipping it down, and now we need to connect the power supply, and that goes on there like so, and down there, oops, like so, and then these wires run around the side. We put them under there. Okay, so far so good. Now the power supply comes in, and there are two little screws that hold that in place, and goes there, and one on the other side. And once those two screws are in, we just reconnect the mains power supply there and the main board power supply, and that's it. That's good to go. That's it done, folks. Okay, hope this has helped you. If there's anything you need to do or anything you need to know, just ask a question or go over to PS3 spares, and there's a lot more information over there. Okay folks, thanks very much for listening.